Liftoff and the clock has started.
Vier, drei, zwei, eins,
Go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes, on the 11th of August 2021, 8 o'clock here in the UK, from a terraced house somewhere in Worthing, at the foot of the South Downs and the edge of the English Channel, on what turned out to be, from a grey, miserable start, actually quite a nice, refreshing day. And it's so thrilling to have one, because we haven't had one for so long. This summer has been awful. I've even celebrated by putting on my lovely flowered hat. Yes, it's just me tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Poor old Julia is not feeling terribly well. She said, "Oh, I'm feeling grim." She looked ashen. It was as if the hooded figure of death was hovering over her, offering jelly babies. She said, "I'll have the jelly babies, but you can take your scythe and shove it somewhere else. I've got work to do with Geronimo Joe and Bald Exploring and Vobe Showing. Only today, I'm going to have a lie down." And I don't blame her. I don't blame her. If you're feeling a bit rough and what have you, why bother putting yourself through the mill? After all, we don't have a mangle. I'd like to go through a mangle. That would be fun. I don't know if you've got a bucket list. Have you got a bucket list? What would be on your bucket list? I bet my bucket list is crazier than your bucket list. I imagine that most people's bucket lists are all the usual stuff, but no one's got on their bucket list, I'd like to go through a mangle. I bet nobody's got that. If you've got that on your bucket list, I don't believe you. I patently don't believe you. What would you like to do if you were told that you've only got the rest of your life to live? What would you like to do? Yeah, that would be worrying, wouldn't it? If you were told by a doctor or somebody else, a friend, possibly nobody in the medical profession, which are probably a little bit more reliant, really, maybe a member of the government. After all, you can trust them, especially if they're in New Zealand, seeing as they're the single source of information now. By the way, just thought I'd throw that out of you. They are the single source of all medical knowledge and everything. Yeah, don't believe anything. No other opinion is worthy of it. They are the single source. So I heard earlier today. Yes, but have you got a bucket list, and what would be on it? I would be fascinated to know if you've got one. Going through a mangle, that would definitely be mine. But what would you like to do? We will come back to that bucket list a little shortly. Meanwhile, let's find out who is out there in the Vobosphere. There is quite a few of you racking up the things. Do say hello. If you've never typed on the show and you've never said anything to me or the lovely Julia or whoever, then do type. I believe the lovely Julia is moderating. She's not no, wait a minute. What is the term? Moderating? Is that where you modify? No, not modifying. I was thinking of the wrong term there, you see. What do you mean, get off? Thanks. That was... we haven't spoken to Eric for a long time. I've got to get my broom. I'll get my broom and we'll find out if Eric's in the house. He better be. He's supposed to be up there in the attic. Anyway, a lot of people out there. Lovely Julia is modifying. She's got the yellow sponge. Stars B saying, yay, first in, la 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 la. By the way, I don't know whether you've ever noticed this, but if you are one of those awful people who get to arrive on the Bald Explorer YouTube page and just write the word first because nobody else has written a comment, you haven't even watched the video, you're not making a comment about the video, but you're just going first, you get deleted. That is an automatic thing with me. I don't see the point. You know, you might get in it. So what? What does it mean? What do you want? Gold medal? I don't understand. But I've seen people go in there and go, first. Yeah, you get deleted. If I see that, boom, it's gone. Can't tolerate it. I just think it's very bizarre. I would never do it if I was lucky enough to be lucky enough. What a silly thing to say. If I happened to land on a page a few moments after it, the thing to do is to watch the sodding video, not write first. Anyway, I made my point. I won't go on about it because it could be you going, oh dear, I did that once. Oh dear, oh no. It's all right. It's all right. This is an education, both ways. So Fishy says first. That's fine. In here, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Daniel Watkins is saying evening. Anna Jones is second. Anna Jones is also third. Oh, all right. You can be first, second, or third. It doesn't really matter. This isn't like the gold medals. By the way, somebody told me the other day, we were talking about medals in the thing. There is, we do count up and find out who wins. Everyone was saying, no, Richard, it's not. It's all about taking part. That's not right, actually. Well, so a contact of mine told me. Yeah, the contact of mine. All right, contact. Just then, the world exploded. Who else have we got in there? Lord Jeffrey. There we are, Lord Jeffrey. Nice to see you. Thank you for turning up. Stars is also, I said Daniel Watkins, a number of people have already been in there for some time. Anyway, Station Master's Choice has chuffed in and found his station of choice absolutely in perfect working order, which is great. He says, been a long day, has it? Been a long day. Up at 4. He can't say 4, he has to say 0400 hours, because he is in the train profession. That's what they all speak like that, you know, Greenwich Mean Time on the 24-hour clock. None of your sloppy... Oh, the big hand is about 57 minutes to the hour, and the small hand is just coming up to that 4. It's in between the 3 and the 4, but not quite there yet. None of that sloppiness we have. And he said up at 4 for an hour drive to film something for us. Oh, my. Oh, my. Well, I haven't got it. Have you sent me a video? Because I've looked. I've got to go back in now and have a look. Bernie the Bolt. where is your WeTransfer then? I've got nothing from you. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, hold on I didn't download it, that's why. It's there. No, it's there. A visit to the sewer. You got up at 4 o'clock 0800 hours, 400 hours, to go and visit the sewer for us. Pegs on noses, ladies and gentlemen. I will download it now. I'd skipped it. Do you know, I said to myself earlier, I went, that's funny, nothing from Bernie. Oh, well, not to worry. He can't do everything every day. And clearly I missed it. A visit to the sewer. Anyway, it's coming down now. We'll get it on. Have no fear. We'll probably be the first one we shove on, to be honest with you, because it's not in the correct order of things, so we'll shove it on first. Anyway, meanwhile, whilst that's going on, Station Master's Choice is in the office of Fair Trade. Kerry Baldwin has also arrived, along with a bunch of other people. Colonel Craig Ratty is there, which is lovely to see. We have a lot of chatter between the two until Alan Sandell came in with his glorious orange sandals, which is nice. Yeah, we've got that. That's downloaded. Marvellous. Thank you very much. Mark Burgess is in with Hazel Burgess. Elaine Whitlock, Whitelock even, is there, which is nice. And they're all tapping away to the music. Ron. I thought I saw your name, Ron, but I've Ron Langley. I'm sure there he is. There we are. I skipped over it. You see, what a fool I am. Skipped over. Ron Langley is there. He says he's 47th. Bonnie's in. Jackie Lowe, Henry Agincourt, Claude Schwartz. There's a name for you, isn't it? Schwartz. Is that... Oh, no, that was Schweppes. I was thinking of Schweppes then. Schwartz, Claude Schwartz, who says, I'm having a great time in Worthing. Would love to have met you both, but going home tomorrow. Oh, you could have popped in for a nice cup of cocoa. But never mind. Who else have we got there? Kathy B, nice to see you. Jeff and Mandy. Michael White, David Vad, Wilf Meyer. We also have Audrey Forbes, which is nice to see you there. Get well soon, Julia, she says. Ernie Samet has popped in. G Ramps is in there with Julie M, Paul Cockrell, the Eastbourne couple, Sean James Cameron, Jamie Boy, 1995, Conehead. He's grumpy tonight. Oh, don't be grumpy, Conehead. Moonshade, hello to you. Linda Kane, nice to see you. Nice to see you. See you, nice. Good game. All right, my love. Let's look at the old floorboard. Michael and Tony, 2 points, but Tony and Michael only one. So bad luck to you two. Hey, good luck to you. Good game, good night. Give us a 12. Didn't they do well? Marvellous. What are points, mate? No idea. Michael White is saying da do ron. Yes, that's right. Very good. And Julia says, I heard a story about the male voice. That station still uses his voice because his widow liked to hear his voice. I assume it was Phil in the true story. Not quite sure what she's on about. Oh, both the original station announcers Phil Sayer and Celia Drummond have now passed away. Oh, have they? The train at platform 5 is going to Benidorm. It was going to Madrid, but it decided it didn't want to go to Madrid. Very busy at this time of year. So if you're going on there, please change to platform 9. Platform 9 for the timed train that was a scheduled train. I've got to get all the lingo right. The train at the platform is next to the piece of metal. Well, it should be on the metal, to be honest with it, but everything's off the rails here at the moment. Never mind. Bonnie says, has anyone seen the Norman Wisdom film on last night, Up in the Air, 1956? Yes, that's a lovely film, Up in the Air. I've seen all. I've got a collection of the Norman Wisdom films. Mr. Crimsdale! Yes, very nice. Did you enjoy it? Up in the Air. Do you notice that they were all after these, well, most of them were these sort of sayings? A stitch in time is another one. Saves 9, and square peg in a round hole, that's another one. Michael White says he's all right. Yeah, so marvellous stuff. Anyway, there we go. Now, in tonight's show, Pete Telling has sent some art for the art corner, which is great. Bonnie has the Beach Hut and Eddie. Oh, Turbo is looking at the spring flowers in his garden. Hazel Burgess has sent in a couple of videos. with trains. And Sean is going around the loop again. He's on part 2, and this is section 2 of The Loop of London. Yes. So, is that the film where he works at the big house and they think he kidnaps the boy? Up in the air. Is that the one? Is that the one where he's doing it? Is that the one where he's working as an orphanage? Is that the one? No? That's One Good Turn, isn't it? One Good Turn is that one. There's one where he climbs. I can't remember which one that is. Which one? What happened? Give us the plot line. He's in a big house and they think he kidnaps the boy. Someone say trains, says Station Mark. Yes, we need someone to wave the flag at the station so that the train can go. That would be nice. Right, I tell you what we're going to do, because Bernie's video has come in and I did a stupid. I'm going to play it first. Visit to the sewer. After all, Norman plays the window. Oh, yes, of course. That's hilarious. That's the bit where he's up the ladder. And he's I think he does that in all of his films, didn't he? He does. Don't do that! Don't do that! No, you carriers, stop it! And he ends up. They have a big banquet or something. He comes in and he gobbles up all the food. You know, there's absolutely no finesse, is there? There's no manners or whatever. He's like, ooh, and he always mistakes things. Your download has started. My download's already been done, love. Right, anyway, so there we are. Yes, Jerry Desmond is in it. Yes, I think Jerry Desmond's in quite a few of them, although, of course, Jerry Desmond died, didn't he? A lot of them died. Norman Wisdom actually died. He had dementia, which was very sad. I thought it was very sad because I remember watching a thing, and he was watching a television programme about him, and he was with dementia, and he was watching his films, and he didn't recognise himself. That's very sad, yes. It comes to us all. Terry Wogan introduced Ivor Cassidy to the listeners after she died. Oh, did she? That's handy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Ivor Cassidy. Hello. You don't say much, do you? Just a stiff on the sofa. Yes. Was that with the old dogs? Hang on, I can't do Terry well. I have to sort of think about her. You have to get a little bit of the Irish. Terry Wogan. The old togs. He had a bit of a sort of quiety little voice, and a bit Irish as well. And I'm doing a terrible Terry, dear Terry, terrible. I can't do Terry Wogan. I wouldn't even try. That was just a leprechaun on a mushroom. That was. It really was. You wouldn't want to see a real leprechaun on anything else. Jackie Lowe says that I did a first today. First time using a jet wash. Thought it wasn't that great until I realised I hadn't switched it on. Once I got the hang of it, I washed everything. Oh wow! What on the car? Do you mean on the car? Were you washing the car at one of these garage places where you put your money in and out comes up and you wash the? Is that the one you mean? Could be. Could be taken on holiday. Jamie Boy says the scene was where he lost his trousers on the train and got off the station and hid among the racers. Oh yes, when the police chased him, it was filmed. When the police chased him was filmed in the 50s, Crawley in West Sussex. There was a number of locations that they used. There's a roundabout scene. Do you remember the On the Beat one where he's a policeman? And there's a big roundabout. I'd always love to know where that roundabout is. Where they filmed that, because they had umpteen extras as policemen chasing after him, da-da-dum-dum, da-da-da-da-dum-dum, and all of that. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, I even know the music. That's the sad case of events. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Anyway, he was and they're running along in On the Beat, and they go round this enormous roundabout, and they go round several times, and then they go back the other way. And the thing is, that same location was used in a Carry On film. A lot of locations were doubled up, but it was such a iconic roundabout. And it was filmed from the top, and of course they didn't have a helicopter or anything like that, so there must have been a tall building from which to do it. Somebody must know where that was. Bonnie loves her jet wash. She loves to take the car in and wash her jets. It's always good to wash your jets, by the way. When you're a jet, you're the top of the thing. At the first cigarette, I can't remember the line. When you're a jet, Yeah, that was West Side Story, wasn't it? No, she says. No, I didn't use the jet wash there. No, borrowed it off a neighbour to wash an old paint of metal stairway and clean the paths, the bins, and I see, had a good old jet wash there. There was a sequence in the Norman Wisdom film, On the Beat, where he's a policeman, where he's cleaning cars at the beginning, and he's cleaning the commissioner's car, isn't he? And then he gets in with the chauffeur, and there's all sorts of issues with that. It's hilarious. Just thought, Carry On Cabby, Sid James, Claude Schwartz. There we are. Sid James. Was that where they go around that? Carry On Cabby. That was a da da dum dum da 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 dum dum da 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 dee 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 dee. Yeah, they Carry On films. That was where they get kidnapped, wasn't it? Hattie Jakes gets kidnapped in the old black cab. So I thought that was great. And then Sid James and what's his name? What's his name? You know his name. Not Charles Hawtrey. The other one. Nora. That one. It's hilarious. Used to love them. I preferred. I don't know what you preferred. I preferred the black and white ones myself. Once they got into the 70s, it became a little. The innuendo became too much for me. And then the last ones were rubbish, really rubbish. It was a shame. They were getting old. They seemed to have lost something. And Peter Rogers and Gerald Thomas were still churning them out, making lots of money. It was a bit of a shame, really. I preferred the black and white Carry On Spying, Carry On Cabby, Carry On Teacher. Oh, it's all good. So, yeah, Carry On Constable. Carry On Sergeant, of course, was the very first one. Which was never intended to become a series thereafter, but it worked so well. Nora. Yeah, they were the days. Who was I thinking of? Not Charles Hawtrey, the other one. What's his name? I always forget his name, but Kenneth Connor. That was his name. No Charles in it at all. What am I talking about? Station Master's Choice says part of a Cabby was filmed in Home Park in Windsor. It doesn't surprise me. My dad was working as a signal box at Riverside Station and saw the filming. Oh, that would be good. Jamie Boy says, what did you think of Carry On England? Heard lots of people hate it. Is that the one in which what's his name? That's the one. Is that the one on the ship with Julian Clary? That's who I was thinking. I never saw it. I thought you can't redo something that was really good. I found arrows and fiberglass rocks on Chobham Common after they filmed Carry On Cowboy. Did you? How interesting. Sean James Cameron has sent me an email. Let's see what Sean has sent. Let's have a look. Arthur Road Roundabout. Oh, is that what it is? Where the policeman chased Pitkin. That's right. Is there anything in Arthur Road Roundabout? Arthur, did you send a link? There's no. Hang on, I'm going to have to find it now. It's just an email with nothing in it. Let's go to Google Images. Whilst we're here, let's go to Google Images and see if we can find it. Google Maps. And see if we can find it, ladies and gentlemen. Why not? It's a bit of a laugh, and it's something different to do on a Wednesday night. Hang on, let's get this up on the screen. Let's see if we can find it. Arthur... Tick, 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 chicken. Arthur Road, Windsor. Did you say Windsor? Can't remember what you said now. Is that it? Is that where the roundabout is? Hang on, let's get to... Do. Oh, here it is. Is this the one? That's the one. Bit different now. They've cut through it. So I wonder if they filmed on one of these buildings. Well, there's nothing really tall there. An old building. Maybe this. Oh, wait a minute. There's a tower there. Is that what he said? No link on his mobile. Oh, right. Fair enough. Just looking there to see if I reckon it must have been that roundabout then. What we need is the actual sequence, don't we? But that will probably give us a copyright strike these days. But anyway, there we are. We've done a bit of Norman Wisdom on the show. Fantastic. Oh, hang on. We nearly had Windsor Davis. How do you remember Windsor Davis? Jackie Lowe says, I saw Christmas Carol being filmed in Shrewsbury. They had pretend icicles and snow and turkeys were hung up. And the thing is, they put in the at St Chad's, New St Chad's, they put in a gravestone with Scrooge written on it for the filming, and it's still there. You can go and see the Scrooge's grave. It's a real gravestone. Obviously, there's nothing underneath it, because, by the way, it was a piece of fiction by Charles Dickens. But yeah, the slab is there, and it does say, if I remember rightly, it says Ebenezer Scrooge. So you can have a check that out, Scrooge's thing. Ferret is squeaking. Hello to Ferret. Nice to see you doing that. Jamie Boy says, when my mum met Windsor Davis years ago, he lived in Sutton, Surrey. Heard his voice, turned round and saw him in a shop. Jackie Lowe says they've repurposed. Oh, they repurposed an old grave. Yeah, presumably it's still there because it's a bit of a talking point. And they filmed it because obviously Shrewsbury, depending on how you want to pronounce it, is a lovely, charming Elizabethan with Georgian buildings as well as Elizabethan, even though it was a Victorian tale. But there we are. It does indeed still exist. Did somebody mention rabbits, said the Ferret. No, nobody mentioned rabbits. Not at all. Let us see if I can get the station master's video to work. I've got to find it now. Hang on. Where did it go? In downloads. A visit to the sewer, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go into the video box. Now, the audio might be too loud. I haven't seen it. I haven't adjusted anything. I can't do it until it's in the thing. So let's see how we go.
Hello, everyone. Well, this is just a little bonus I filmed especially for the Vobes show. I'm standing on a bit more of the River Rother, except I'm not. I don't think this was ever actually called the Rother. This was the Limen, and this is the course of it before the storm of 1637 diverted its course. 1637, yeah, so I guess it might just have been called the Rother by then. I'll let you have that one. This is now called the Reading Sewer, and it's what keeps the levels north of Wittersham drained and in use for sheep farming, as you can see. And this particular watercourse goes right the way around the top of the Isle of Oxney and back into the Royal Military Canal, which means that Oxney is still technically an island. But here on this side, I guess the sluice must be shut at the moment because this is a bit stagnant down this side, and there's a poor swan down there. He appears to have got himself a little bit stuck, and there's really nothing I can do for him. And there's his family. They're all shooting off into the distance. There they go. This is a cygnet. I'm guessing one of last year's. Now, what he's got to do is to duck his head right underneath there and he'll get through. Duck your head underneath, Sonny. You'll get there. Perhaps if he's... But just so you know, there wasn't a bad ending to that. He came back through under the bridge, and there he is. All on his own though for now, but I'm guessing that he's pretty soon going to take off. Handsome beast. Pretty soon going to take off and join his family. There.
How lovely is that, ladies and gentlemen? Glad to see basically a Disney film there, wasn't it? You know, animal in distress, and how's it going to get out? We're all up there. It's sort of 1975 Disney type production, that was. We're all like, oh gosh, whatever's going to happen? And then he gets, and it's a nice happy ending. Thank you so much, Bernie, for getting up at 0400 hours to go to the sewer. Not kind of the sewer I was imagining, actually. But it was much, much more interesting. 1975 Disney's film. They don't make them like that anymore, do they? I mean, maybe that's a good thing. But I quite like those old Disney things. You know, I like that time of innocence. Whatever happened to those days of innocence? For example, do you remember the Children's Film Foundation, where they used to make feature films, usually about an hour to an hour and a half long, the English films, not American, English films, the Children's Film Foundation. That stopped. Don't know what happened to it. Vanished. All those, and kids don't get it anymore. Let's find out who's calling in on the show. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Sean from London.
Sean from London. You must remember the Children's Film Foundation.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
That's when the films were put on the telly.
Yeah, that's where I really saw them, but I reckon they were at the cinema before that, weren't they?
But there was always an element of don't go and play in the quarry.
Yeah.
Type of thing with it.
Was it? So it was a sort of public information film aimed at kids.
Yeah, don't play with open scissors.
Funny you should say that. I mean, as a kid, I don't really remember that. I just remember, I think I was aware that these were made in England and not American or Australian, because we used to have Daktari and there was Flipper, wasn't there? And the other one with the kangaroo, Bouncy.
Oh,
what was his name?
Yeah.
Bouncy the kangaroo.
And then on a Saturday morning, we had Champion the Wonder Horse.
Oh, yes. Well, that was American.
Then it was The Littlest Hobo.
Who?
The Littlest Hobo. There's a voice keeps on calling me down the road. That's where I'll always be. Every time I stop, I make a new friend. Can't stay for long. I gotta go. I'm off again.
I don't remember that. I don't remember the Littlest Hobo. No. Is it Dog? Oh, yeah. Actually, I think you brought that up once before.
Tomorrow I'd want to settle down.
Everyone's telling me that Bouncy wasn't Bouncy the kangaroo. It was Skippy. Yeah, I didn't think it was really Bouncy.
And then, Why Don't You came on, which I've never seen a full episode. Because when they said, why didn't you switch off the TV and do something less boring instead, I went in the garden. Yeah.
That was a good idea. It was like a prompt, wasn't it? Turn the telly off. Oh, right, okay.
So I never actually saw it. But what I'm phoning in about is based loosely on your video this morning.
Oh, what was my video this morning? I can't remember now.
About a man died on the front door.
Oh, yes, that's right. True story, that is. I went to see his gravestone.
And it's about ghosts of the past coming back to life. Well, I had a similar incident today.
Did you?
One of in one of our local Facebook groups, somebody posted a picture of the local park, because I live next door to the park, and she said,
"Is this in London?"
Yes. And she said, I used to go to the park every summer when we went to go and visit my grandparents who live in Derby House.
Right.
So I said, well, I live in Derby House now. So I got her on the phone, on the video phone, and I walked through the garden to show her things. And she was telling me where the old paths were. And we've discovered that there is a well in the garden, and there is a cellar in the laundry room, which we didn't have a clue about.
Well, laundry room.
She also said that in 1957, the coronation, she planted a copper tree in the garden, and she asked, was the tree still there? Well, I showed her the tree, and the tree is double the height of the house.
Blimey.
And it was like talking to somebody from the past.
Yeah. So that was like 75 odd years that that tree had grown. It's interesting because you can say, did you say a copper beech?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can now get an idea of how big a copper beech can grow in about 70 to 75 odd years.
And she said, "Oh, we used to pick apples and pears." So I then went and then showed her the apples and pears.
Blimey!
And one of the original paths is still here. But I said to her, during the heat wave, something really strange happens where the entire garden turns brown, except for this one section.
Right.
And she said that's where the old path is.
Oh.
She said, if you go down the path and turn to the right, which is what I did, there is a well, and they used to draw the water up from the well. So I will be getting my spade up soon.
Yeah, don't. You might loosen the surface and just vanish.
Well, as long as I film it, there'll be views in it.
Help! I'm down a well. That could be well interesting.
Somebody upload the video.
I had a bloke, I can't remember where I've mentioned this before, but at my house I did have a bloke who knocked on the door about, it was nearly 20 years ago now, 15, 20 years ago, something like that. This old guy, he must have been in his 80s, and he knocked on the door.
Were you looking for stables?
He was looking for the bloke down the road who wasn't in the 2 doors down. He said, "Oh, do you know when they'll be back?" I said, "I don't, actually." He said, "Oh, it's just that I lived at the back of where you are, where there's a supermarket now." He said, on that, where I park my car, and I have trouble with the woman down the road who parks her car there were other houses, because that road was a road that led to the station, and there were other houses and stables, and he used to go and lead the horse out, down to the dairy, he said. And if you look on old maps, it's there, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I wanted to record him, because I was doing the Vobes show, but there was no real way I could suddenly just say to a man who randomly knocked on the door, who was telling me stuff because he was waiting to see if a neighbour would turn up, that I could just go, "Oh, do you mind just popping into my studio? I'd just like to record your..."
Well, this is what I quite like about doing the London Loop, because I've seen other people do what I do.
Yeah.
But they don't stop and talk. They don't stop and talk to people. And that's one of the differences that I want to do, is I want to stop and have chats to people and get a bit of information, which you've seen in tonight's video. I talked to one of the locals and I get a story. Otherwise, I would have just walked straight past and thought this is just a field.
Yes. And do you feel, do people look at you strange with a camera? Because you're like me, you have a connection with television, and this sort of sometimes is irksome, because it makes you feel like you can't just poke a camera in somebody's face and ask him a question, because there's the whole business about, oh, I better ask permission, and I need a release form signed.
They are starting to ask for a fee now.
Yeah, and then they're exactly. So I always find it a bit weird if I've got a camera in my, it's like I usually sort of hide it, because most people say, "What are you doing, dear?" Well, I'm just taking photographs.
I actually went for a walk today down by the riverside, and I said exactly that in the video, and I actually referred to it to you, and I said that story that we've often said to each other about for us to go into a supermarket and film, we get permissions and we get the paperwork, we do a health and safety assessment, whereas other people just walk in and film.
Yeah. And technically they shouldn't do that, because it's private property and you ought to have permission.
Yeah.
But people who don't know, because they just make videos on YouTube, they don't have any sort of background in it. But it would be nice to have that freedom to be thrown out, or have someone say, "Would you mind not filming in here?"
I asked people. There was one guy in the first part of the London Loop where he stopped me and he said, "Can I ask what you're doing?" So I said, and he told me a story about how the buildings used to be a cinema back in the day, And I said, "Oh, can I put you on the video?" And he went, "No, I don't want to get involved with that stuff."
Yeah.
So you could say, "Oh, is that because you've just made it all up?" But then sometimes some show off might say, "Oh yeah, film me," and then just give me a load of twaddle.
That's it. And it is irritating, isn't it? You film, somebody tells you a fantastic thing and you think, "Oh, do you mind just doing that on camera?" And then they say no, like you said. And you just think, well, now if I relate that, it just seems lame to say, I've just met this bloke who told me all this stuff, and it's sort of one step beyond. Whereas it's so much easier if somebody goes, "Oh yeah, no, that building over there, I'll tell you, when it was
But
really
that comes
tall."
from a historic point of view, and back in Wales, they went through a period where they were pulling down schools. So they pulled down my old Victorian school. I managed to get access in the last 2 weeks. And unfortunately, when I was travelling back to Manchester, somebody stole my bag, and all the videotapes were in there. But I had one school teacher who said, "I don't like." This is back in the 90s, so they were a bit more open about filming the kids and stuff. And she said, "No, I don't want you to come in here." And I said, "Can I ask the reason why?" And she said, "I just don't want to be filmed." And I tried to explain, which is what I tried to say to people, is I understand you don't want to be filmed, but think about people in 50 years' time. It'll be interesting for them to see. So try and put your own, Try and put your own ego to one side, because this is really got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so just be in my video. I will make money from it on YouTube, and you get nothing.
But she put her foot down. She said, "No, I don't want you to come here." And then the next day, that's nothing to do with me, though. The school burned down to the ground. And they didn't have any record of the pictures of the hall or anything. It had just gone. So I do try and say to people, don't think about what John is going to say about you in a week's time. Think about, people in 50 years' time.
Well, it's a very good point, isn't it? A very good point. If only we could get people to do that. I do worry when I film people or people contribute with me, and then, I feel I ought to be paying them, really, because I do get something from YouTube. Even if it's only 50p on that video, I get something, and I feel, I do that. There is a pang of guilt. Do you ever feel that? No.
No.
All right, fair enough.
Rinse them.
Well, rinse them. Yeah. Well, radio stations rinse people, don't they? Especially, talk radios, those radios that have people calling in all the time. If people didn't call in, they would never show. And I often thought, they don't pay them. I know I've been on these things before, and they don't pay you anything. And if you didn't ring in, and often you have to pay for the sodding call as well, like on this show.
The thing that gets me the most is, and I had an email this evening, in fact.
Yeah.
And it was, "Dear Sean, we love your content. You're obviously a great influencer within the gardening community. You speak with a
Welsh accent
that people want to listen to. Can we send you a free book to get a review?" and I've just responded going, "No, because if you think I'm that great, at least you can give me 50 quid for my trouble."
Oh, that's not very nice.
It's like the amount of free books that I've got up on my wall that I've collected from over the years.
Yeah.
I can't take them to the bank to pay the rent.
No, but you could sell them on eBay.
Yeah, for £2.50.
Well, get them signed. Say, I'll review it if you sign it. And then, I would. Somebody sent me a free book once. It was quite interesting. I've got it.
This book was coming from a very popular BBC gardening programme.
Right.
And I thought, no, what they do is they send a free book to 20 people, have about £30,000 worth of free publicity, and just to try and
sell their books,
make the influencer feel special. Oh, I've got a free book from the BBC. It's like, I can't eat it.
Yeah. That's true. The chat has disconnected for some reason. Is that right? Is the chat room no longer working? Can somebody test it? I'm just going to press test. There's a button here that says test. Can you see the test? I've just got this chat disconnected. Yeah. Please wait while
I can see it.
Successfully connected. Oh, there it is. It's just popped back again. Oh, that was it.
Fine.
Fantastic. Well, brilliant, Sean. We better move on, but thank you for that story. Interesting stuff about...
This is something to think on before I go now.
Yeah.
In 50 years' time, you'll be dead.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks for that.
And just think about the next person that buys your house.
Yeah.
They'll have 10 years worth of videos to go through going, oh, look, this is what he did in the kitchen.
Oh, this is what he didn't do.
And wouldn't it be a joy for them?
Wouldn't it? Yeah, they go, look, he didn't renovate, didn't do the roof, he didn't do anything. And then at the end of the day, when it was run down, he sold the bloody place. And look what they've done now. That's probably what it will be. Yeah, I will. Before I go, I should delete all evidence that I ever existed. I think that's probably the safest for everybody.
Well, I've actually got a few videos on my channel that are earmarked to be released in about 20 years' time, because they're about local controversies that I've filmed people expressing their views about.
Yeah, I see.
And I do feel a bit TV responsibility going, right, well, I can't release them at the moment because everybody's a bit hot under the collar, so I'll put them out in 20 years.
Right. It's a very, very nice man. Lovely to talk to you, Sean.
All the best.
Look
Bye.
after yourself. Bye for now. There we are. It's Sean James Cameron with his curious stories. Thank you very much for that. We're going to take a short break. We are going to have a look at Hazel Burgess's first of her 2 videos this evening. It's gone really quickly so far, hasn't it? Hazel Burgess is Mark Burgess's sister, and they are down on the Romney Marsh and Dymchurch Railway, from what I can gather. Let's have a look and see what wonderful bit of filming she has sent into the show.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well,
hang on. I forgot. Hang on. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's typical when you put one in on the fly like that. It throws everything on the... But it's my fault. Anyway, back to Hazel.
Here comes the train. On the train at St Mary's Bay, probably through to New Romney and then to Lyd, maybe Dungeness, not sure. But anyway, my name is Hazel Burgess, doing a film with brother in the background. Now looking at a vampire that was put out last year for Halloween. He looks a bit like he's staring into space. He looks pretty well considering he's been here all year. Not too bad, is it? But at least you can hear me a bit better now the train's gone. I'm going to look at some bits of the station. There's the St Mary's Bay logo, if you can see it. I don't know, not sure, but hopefully you all can. I can't tell whether you can or not, but it's a bit blowy. Yeah, but at least the sun is shining. All having a nice bit of fresh air while we can. Showing you down to the end of the track where the train's just gone through. Having a look at some butterfly bushes. Back to Mr. whatever his name.
What is that bald bloke's name who hosts this show? If only there was a more memorable way, maybe put it in the title or something. That might do it. Anyway, that was Hazel Burgess. Thank you, Hazel, for sending that in. We've got more comedy from Hazel coming. I have to say, it made me smile. Really, it did. It's a train. Oh, brilliant stuff. Thank you, Hazel. And thank you very much, Mark, for organising the WeTransfer. That's how you send the videos into the Vobe Show. If you want to go out and film something of your own, little bit of world, and send it in, send it to me, richard@vobes.com. That's the email address, richard@vobes, the little @ sign, .com, but not directly. Do it via the website WeTransfer, WeTransfer.com. Then you can upload it to them, because I can't take full videos into my inbox. It will clog it up. It'll probably get rejected anyway. So that's marvellous. There we are. Thanks very much, Hazel. Lots of comments going on whilst I was chatting to Sean James Cameron. Sorry about the little disconnection, but I think we are still connected. What have we got here? We've got Jamie Boy says, I went past my grandfather's house, grandparents' dad's side house in Crawley recently, near to where they filmed the Norman Wisdom film. Felt very emotional. Ah, bless. And Linda Kane said, I went to the house that my father was born in Chiddingford, and the woman who lived in there invited me in. Have you ever been back to a house that you once lived in? I'd be interested to know about that. Have you returned to a house that perhaps you grew up in? And have you seen what they've done to it? Oh, it's never the same, is it? Deborah Martin says, that's lovely, Linda. Linda says, I could identify a wall in the interior that was originally an external wall on an old 65-year-old photo. Ah, how lovely is that? Bonnie says, in the South Pacific Islands, you can't just take photos of people. It's considered very rude. Oh. And Linda Kane says, my grandparents were extremely poor and rented the house, which is now worth over $1 million. Beautiful timber-framed place. If only our ancestors knew the price of the property they were in. Not that they could do anything, of course, back then, but fascinating stuff. Anyway, there we go. Thank you very much for all of that. Station Master's Choice says, that station we've just seen, he says, always reminds me in the bit in Oh, Mr. Porter, where Will Hay says, we have plenty of trains here, and his challenger says, yes, but it's a different one. It's different if one of them stops. Yeah, there we go. The Will Hay films, absolutely smashing. Used to love those films. Last Train's Gone. Yes, thank you. Colonel Cragratty is saying, my dad donated films of his demolition jobs that he did in Worthing, Hove and Brighton to the museums on the towns. Well, that's handy, isn't it? Because then you can find out who was responsible for bringing down some of the lovely buildings, and maybe we could get them to bring down some of these god-awful buildings they're building in Worthing. That would be nice. Kerry Baldwin says, a work colleague moved into a house I grew up in. I went round one day and walked in and said, oh, isn't it small? How funny. How our minds must react. And Michael White said, I rented my mother's house out since she's died. I get very emotional when I go there. Yeah, I can imagine. So there we go. Right, so let us move on. Pete Cragratty, Colonel Cragratty, otherwise known as Pete, sent some pictures in for the art gallery. Let's go and have a look at those. So the first picture we have, do you remember he used to send in the climbing pictures? And they would come in two tones. Here's the first one. This is him and his mate climbing up a cliff. I can't tell you where it is because I've missed the thing. That's it in black and white. And now, as if by magic, there it is in colour. Thanks, Pete, for sending that in. It's great to see your art there. Drawing people, the hardest thing, I think, but you've done it so well. Looks really great. Love it. Very, very kind. Thanks very much indeed. So there we are. That's the Vobes Gallery. If you'd like to send in a picture for the Vobes Gallery, not the Rogues Gallery, the Vobes Gallery. If you'd like to send in a picture, and we'd love to see what you've come up with. Art that you've given a go at would be fantastic. Lovely stuff. What else have we got over here in the thing? Sean James Cameron says, I went back to my grandmother's house. It was completely different, making it difficult for me to imagine what it was like. Sorry, in the end, he went to see it. I can understand. Robert Baxter says, I've looked at my parents' old house on Rightmove. That felt really weird. Yeah, I can well believe that going back to a place that you know so well must seem a bit strange. Michael White says, I can't bear to sell it. Oh, that's his mother's house, yes. And he also says, nice drawings. There we go. Lord Jeffrey says, I've emailed you my favourite picture. Okay, let's have a look. It's nice when people email in. I see there's a few other emails in here. So let's start with Lord Jeffrey says, here's my favourite picture. He took it about 5 years ago. It's on a frame in his house. And let's have a look. Hang on, I'm trying to get that to... Why won't you zoom in? Very odd. It did it a second ago. Anyway, let's have a look at it. Here it is. But you can see, I'm trying to zoom it in, but it won't. It did it a moment ago, and now it won't do it. Maybe I have to come out and go back in again. Hold on a second. Let's just see if I can get that a bit bigger. I will come out. There we go. That's a bit better. Here we are. Beautiful picture. Some poppies with the sun behind it. Very nice. Of course, it was a complete accident. He dropped his camera, didn't he? And as he dropped it, it took a photograph. But it was very nice. Thank you very much, Lord Jeffrey. Very, very kind of you. Let's just see what else has come in on the old email box, because we've got a number of items here. Sean has sent in some pictures of the roundabout now. That is this is from ground level, although again, I can't open that much bigger. It's very titchy. But that is the roundabout. Still with the chevrons. I seem to remember it having something like chevrons on the outside in the videos. Maybe somebody can... I wonder if I could find that particular... oh, yeah, here we go. That's the bit I wanted to look at. Here we go. That, again, is very, very small, unfortunately. And it's got those... Yeah, is that the same place? Oh, yes. It hasn't got chevrons. Isn't that interesting? It's the... Oh, yes, you see, it's got the black and white on the curbs. I wonder if that was from the time during the war when they had blackouts. I'm wondering if that was just as a result of that still being there. Interesting. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see if there's another roundabout picture. Oh, here we go. This is a bit better. Can I get that a bit better? On the Beat, 1962, classic film. Let's have a look. Norman Wisdom, classic, filmed in Windsor. Oh, that was in Windsor, was it? There we go. And below, we can just about see On the Beat, 1960, before Royal Ward Windsor film. But it was. I'm sure it was in, as you say, is that the Cabby film? It was in another film as well. But anyway, there we go. Look at that. We've solved some things. We've solved a few bits and bobs in this episode, have we not? Now, who else has sent me an email? I'm sure somebody else is. Robert Brailsford, he said, here's one I made earlier. I'm not quite sure what he means by that, but let's have a little look. Here's one I made earlier, The Vobes Show. Ah, lovely. He's obviously waiting. Are we on the big screen, Robert? Are we on the massive screen? How lovely is that? Always nice to be in the big cinema. Here's one I made earlier. Lovely stuff. There we go. So, all good. Brilliant. Thank you very much. You can send me an email if you wish with something jolly for the show. richard@vobes.com is the number. Deborah Martin says, you're a man of many talents, Pete, which is true. He is. Many, many talents. He's helped me very much with the old black van, my own personal black Mariah, which was very nice. So thank you very much for that. We have 32 likes on today's show and 93 people concurrently watching. Do give us a thumbs up or a click if you have a like or whatever it's called, if you are enjoying today's content. We are going back into the video box, ladies and gentlemen. Turbo has been out looking at his spring flowers in the garden. Now that the summer is coming well, mid-flight, I suppose, because we're getting close to the end of the summer. Not that we've seen much of it. Maybe we'll have an Indian summer in September. But we're going to have a look at the spring flowers with Turbo, which is otherwise known as Adrian. Let's have a gander. Did that cheer you up? That did cheer you up, didn't it? That was lovely. Thank you very much. A lovely, jolly piece of music to go with it as well. There we are. That's Turbo Stream up there in Birmingham. Just goes to prove that you can get some lovely flowers in a city, which is nice to see. Thank you so much, Adrian. Looking forward, by the way, to when you come down to sunny old Worthing in your camper van. Or we should meet up somewhere, me and my van, you and yours, and go somewhere, spend the night, have a couple of beers or something as we watch the sun go down. The trouble is, at the moment now, I've noticed that the sun is going down far earlier. By 8 o'clock, it's getting a bit, well, almost dark. Not quite dark, but, you know, miserable to see. And you have to put the lights on, get the old oil lamp on and sit there. What are you doing of an evening in your camper van? I was thinking about this. I was thinking, what do I do? There am I. I'm going out and I would see the sun. And then as it starts to get a bit dark, you know, when winter comes, it gets dark at 3. I don't want to sit in my camper van sort of from 3 in the afternoon until about 9 o'clock the following day. In the freezing cold, thinking, what do you do at night when you're sat there in a camper van? I would love to know. Somebody give me some ideas so I can get up to stuff. I don't really go to the pub very much. Can't afford to spend the money on beer. I don't really drink alcohol very often. Not teetotal as such, but I very rarely drink anything. And what else did you go to the cinema? I suppose you could do that. What other things? That go to the theatre, if there's a theatre, I suppose. Michael White says, I make dolls of people and stick pins in them. Oh, well, that's a nice little hobby, isn't it? Bonnie says, I can't do my wildflower walks at the moment due to a bad back. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What have you... Is that too much saxophone playing, Bonnie? Linda says, read, Richard, read. Yeah, it's only so... After about an hour and a bit... reading, my poor little eye gets tired. I'm sorry about that. There must be other things. Watch YouTube. Oh yes, that's it. Watch blooming YouTube videos. What a waste of life that is. Take up knitting. That could be a better idea. Turbo says, sorry, I meant to come down, but I was ill in early summer. I do need to arrange a trip. We've got to get you out in that lovely... You've only been, as far as I'm aware, down to the south of Wales, which was very nice. Bonnie had a puncture today. Oh, oh, sorry, acupuncture. Sorry, I thought you said... I misread that. I misread that. I'm sorry, I got it wrong again, Dad. Do you remember Dick Emery? I think I got it wrong again, Dad. Oh, they were the days. Yes, I misread that. Sorry about that. You had acupuncture today. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Is that in the tennis elbow? Terrible when you get a bit of acupuncture. Your arm can feel all deflated and everything. Turbo says, I read in my van or listened to the radio. There's a lot of sitting it down. I would want to get out and do things. I can't sit still. I mean, I'm sitting still in this show tonight, but blimey, I have to get up. Even when the videos come in, I generally have to stand up. I don't really actually sit down for very long. Think up ghost stories and tell us them by the fire. I don't have a fire in my... but it's a nice idea, Jackie. I haven't got round to you yet, Kerry, says Michael. What do you mean I haven't got round to you? I read in my van, I read that. What do people think about alternative medicines? What do you mean, what do they think? It depends how alternative it is. I mean, there's some medicines like stick your head in an oven and turn the gas on. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. It's not a good look for the kids when they come in early in the morning and go, Mum, what you doing with your head in the oven? When I said to you the other day, I'll go and boil your head, I didn't mean in an oven. I meant in a pressure cooker. That would have been a bit funny. Ron Langley has sent an email in. I'm glad you've told me. He said, this is my favourite picture. Elaine and Ron's favourite picture. It has the pilot's signature at the bottom too. How lovely is that? That is a lovely picture. Shall I share it with everybody? I think I should. Here we go. Look at that. A couple of Spitfires whizzing past down there, overlooking the Coast Guard's cottages and, of course, the Seven Sisters in the Cookmere Valley. Isn't that lovely? And that old lane is still there today. Luckily, I think it might be tarmac now, which is a bit of a shame. But look at that. Isn't that nice? And there, right at the bottom, that is, isn't it? It's a Messerschmitt, an ME 109. By the looks of things, just there on the bottom right-hand corner here. I wonder if you can see that. What a lovely picture that is. Superb. And the pilots of those actual Spitfires, is that right? Blimey. Marvellous stuff. Anyway, thank you very much on that. Michael White says, I will work on it, Julia. What is he talking about? What's he going to work on? I haven't got round to you, Kerry. I will work on it. You've confused me now. You have very much confused me. Reiki works well for me. Needles don't really appeal. No, I wouldn't want to have any... I mean, the government are trying to jab you. I don't want to go and get anybody else jabbing me, thank you very much. If I never hear about a bloody needle ever again, it will be too soon, which is good. Anne Wright says, we'll listen to talking books in the evening while camping. That could give a strange impression, could it not? Anne, if you're camping, there you are with your tent, inside your tent, you've got your little cassette player on, listening to the latest of, who shall we say? Who's that one that used to write all those kinky, racy stories in the 70s, whatever her name was? There you are, listening to a bit of that. Was it Joan Sims? Brother, not Joan Sims, not Alistair Sim. Wasn't thinking of him. Who's the one that did the not Jodie Foster. There's an author. Anyway, it doesn't really mount. And there you are listening to that, panting and all of that, and then people passing your tent because it's only material would be hearing all of that going on and thinking, oh, Anne, what are you up to, dear, tonight? Have you got a man in there? Jilly Cooper, thank you very much. Enid Blyton. No, I don't think it was Enid Blyton with the lashings of ginger beer. And all right, Titty? Oh, no, it wasn't. Who was Titty? Titty was in Swallows and Amazons, wasn't it? Wasn't it Titty in Swallows and Amazons? I think Titty was in such a lovely name. All right, Titty. What was that short for? Was that short for Matilda? Was it Titty? Or Tiffany or something? Alan Titchmarsh, yeah, he writes passionate love stories. He can Mills and Boone. Oh yes, they were. Jackie Collins. That's the one I was thinking of. Jackie Collins. My mum used to read those sort of things. I remember she had one by Jilly Cooper, which had somebody in horse joppers and a bloke on a horse, and it was this sort of love affair going on. And as a kid, I remember, or as a young adult, I suppose, thinking, What are you reading all that muck for, Mum? I've just got the Super 8 magazine. It's far more interesting. Look, it's talking about 9.5 gauge, and you can get a special new acetone cement for splicing the thing. You can get a stripe, as it was called, stripe down the... Mum, this is really interesting. I want a new editor, Mum. Meanwhile, she was just immersed in... she read loads of those sort of books. Bonnie says, in my evenings, I'm mostly studying music theory or practicing my sax or cooking or watching old films on the Talking Pictures channel. So it keeps you busy and out of mischief, which is what we need, isn't it, really? Everybody to be out of mischief. They call her Tatty. They called her Tatty. Is that the modern version of Titty? All right, Titty. Where are you going, Titty? Titty, what are you up to? It's not... I mean, that wasn't exclusive to that... book, was it? Titty was quite a, you often see it in old films or in other books. It's lovely. I was in Enid Blyton's bedroom today, says Sean James Cameron. What are you talking about? My friend owns her childhood house and they still have her mulberry tree outside her window. Oh, how lovely. Did you see Noddy and Big Ears by any chance? By any quirk of fate? Thank you to Ron Langley for that lovely picture. That was superb. Jackie HW has sent in her favourite picture, which is of her lovely dog and herself. There we go. Look at that. How marvellous. Very lovely. Nice to see the pair of you there. And that's Sky. I think it's Sky, isn't it, Jackie, your doggy? I think that's what you said. I'm very late sending these in. You may have not time to show them. Two of my favourite photos, as I have. One is with Flinty, and I beg your pardon. There's another one in here. Hang on, let's find the other one. Here we go. Is this Flinty? Hang on, or is this? I get confused. Which one is which? Where is it? There we go. Trying to keep up with all the viewers is not so easy, if you know what I mean. But there we go. Lovely. What a lovely dog with his tongue sticking out with Miles behind. Sorry, Miles is a person, not with miles of kitchen behind. Obviously, getting confused there. Julia M says, if you meet up with people, you could go somewhere nice to eat in the evening. Well, that would be good. That would, that's the perfect solution, is to meet up. Does anybody go into out of choice? I'm not talking about if you're working, but out of choice. Would you go to a restaurant on your own? Isn't that a very strange thing, isn't it? I mean, when I used to do the corporate videos and I was required to be in different parts of the country, and you'd go up the night before and you'd stay in a travel lodge. Well, not a travel lodge, a Premier Inn, actually. Travel lodges were a bit naff to stay in. Their beds were never quite made, and they were a bit dodgy. I mean, I'm sure they're very nice now, he says, allegedly, put that in, without prejudice, all the legal ramification words that keep me not from being sued. But anyway, used to stay in the Premier Inns, ladies and gentlemen. Look how nervous I am, I'm scratching my head. Used to stay in the Premier Inns, and you'd get up there about, I don't know, 9-ish, driven up there, so I didn't have to linger any longer in these godforsaken places that all look the same. You feel like you've gone into a time warp. Oh yes, Premier Inn, everything's all purple everywhere, purple this and purple that. Yeah, and there's that Lenny Henry, comedian, everywhere, spread all over the bleeding walls because he did the commercials for a while back, and you think, I've got to go and eat. And then you go into the associated naff old pub that's all trying to be trendy, but it's only there because the hotel is there, or the hotel's only there because there's this pub, and there's nowhere else to go. If you notice how the Premier Inns, they're very rarely where anywhere else you can go and actually eat, so you're stuck having to go there and have your breakfast there in this, out of a magazine, isn't it? What kind of interior would you like? Well, it's in the country. Oh, shall we put farming implements in then? And all this sort of fake farming implements like that, and a carvery and all this nonsense. Not a real, genuine, old-fashioned, lovely pub where people smoke pipes and spit at the spittoon. Spittoon. Anyway, do you ever gone in one of these places on your own? And you sit there and you look at the menu, and you look at what they've got. Oh, okay. And you think, what is the quickest meal that I can eat? And there's locals are in there having a jar, and they're laughing, and somebody's playing darts in the corner, and you feel like you've walked into somewhere, and you know that there you are, Billy No Mates, and you bring in your book so you don't, or you sit on your phone like that. Anything to break up the fact that you're sitting on your own. You haven't been, what is it called when the date doesn't turn up? You haven't been stood up. You haven't been stood, you're making it sure. No, the woman that I was going to meet, this blind date where I was going to meet somebody. I'm here working. Maybe you go in with a file, one of those ring binders, and oh yes, I'm so heavily overworked that I'm actually working in the inordinately dim light that they had in these. I mean, you ever taken a book to try and read in the bar? They've got this bland 80s music coming in over the top of everything. You've got all this chatter going on, and then you're trying to read a book and the lights are as dim as anything, so you can't actually make out what the food is, and you're trying to go, oh god, I can't see this. You're squinting with your one eye trying to focus the sodding words. What is that saying? And you're trying to and you read the same paragraph about 4 times to work out oh, this is no good. So in the end, you end up texting everybody you can think of on your phone, don't you? You sit there going, hello, Mum. Hello, Dad. What are you up to? Oh, yeah, I'm in a pub, blah, blah. Yeah, oh, yes, no, I've ordered the steak. Oh, that was a mistake. It's rubbery. Have you done all of that? Isn't that... Let's find out. Depends on the restaurant and the time of day, says Linda Kane. I wouldn't eat in a restaurant on my own. One reason, I like my van, says Turbo Stream. That's very good. Bonnie says, I used to go to restaurants alone when travelling back from work. But did you enjoy it? That's the thing. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, I did it. I didn't want to do it. I hated it. Do you know, on many occasions, I would go into the supermarket and I would buy cold food and I would take it up to my room. I would rather do that. Or if I could find a fish and chip shop, I would do that and either take it up on my room, or if it's a nice evening, sit out and eat some sausage and chips or anything not to sit in a restaurant on one's own with and then, and if there is no pub or anything, you go into a restaurant, that's even worse, with the waiters looking at you going, is there anybody else coming this evening? No, I have not been stood up. I'm working. Look, can't you see? I'm trying to read my book. I've got all this work I've got to do. Yeah, no, I'm not just here, Billy, no, mate. I've got loads of friends back, and I'm normally down there. I'd be blind drunk telling you all sorts of stories, mate. But just tonight, it's just me, so I just want the soup and bread and I'm off. I have a wooden noddy and a big ears egg cups from childhood, says Audrey Forbes. Of course you do. We all want a bit of that. Michael White says, I went into rules on my own. I can't afford to take anyone else. What is rules? Mike White says he loves the shirt. Thank you very much. Nice summary shirt. Thank you. I would go to a restaurant on my own, but not a pub. Oh, right. Interesting. What else have we got up there? It's something I may have to consider, says Julie M. Going into a restaurant on your own? Why, Julie M, would you have to consider that? G-Remps, everyone is looking at their phone when out for a meal these days. Yes, nobody can... It's weird, isn't it? There's a Wimpy just down where Richard lives. So what? I don't go to a Wimpy. That's for wimps, isn't it? And Sean James Cameron says the Bald Explorer Eating Out Club meets once a session. We could do that. That's not a bad idea. We could all meet out for a nosh. If everyone's up for that, we'll organise it. We'll have a day. We don't have to do the walk. If people aren't up for the walk, we'll just have a nosh and a chat. How about that? Oh, that's hence the Wimpy. Yes, I see. Tats the Wimpy I go to in Worthing near me, says Elaine. Well, it's lovely, isn't it? The Wimpy, I just insulted it. But it's lovely. It's very lovely, the Wimpy. I think I've been in there twice, mainly with children. Would you go in there on your own without the kids? I don't know. Station Master's Choice says, my cousin and I had a Wimpy grill in Swanage a couple of months ago. Felt like teenagers again. Jackie HW says, I'm delayed, so commenting about 10 minutes late. Oh, yes, I've been to a restaurant on my own many times. By the way, it's Finty, not Flinty. I beg your pardon. Sorry about that. I misread things. Elaine says, love the Wimpy country breakfast. Deborah Martin says, oh, wow, I love Rules Restaurant. Oh, where the hell is Rules Restaurant? Where is it? And they made one of the latest James Bond films in Rules. Where the hell is Rules? Is it in Worthing? Where is it? I've not been in a Wimpy since the 1970s, says Linda Kane. What is the Rules And where is it? Where is it? I'm confused now. I've never heard of it till you mentioned it. Ray of Hope has sent in a picture. He says this is his dog at rest. Let's have a look. His lovely animal dog at rest. Isn't that nice? So there we go. And Bonnie H says the toilets in the Ivy are brilliant. I've been to the Ivy with Danny Baker. Funnily enough, he took me out to the Ivy. It was very nice. There was a chance that we would see old what's his mate's name who talks with a lisp, Jonathan Ross, but he didn't turn up. But yeah, we had a nice meal at the Ivy. He took me there. It was very nice. The one in London. I don't know if there's other ones, but this was the one in London. And Michael White. Oh, Rules is in Covent Garden. Obviously, it's not in Worthing. I'm not interested in if it's not in my local town. Thank you for that. Right, let us go back into the video box for I feel a video coming on. And it's time to go to the beach hut. This is Bonnie's beach hut with her mate Eddie. Eddie, by the way, is a seagull. Sorry, a herring gull, not a seagull.
Is that nice, Eddie? Eddie's got his own dog bowl. He has fresh water and some food. Bye, Eddie. Today's a lot warmer. There's no rain on the horizon, so hopefully quite a nice afternoon at the beach hut. It's always the first thing that I do is feed Eddie and put the kettle on. So the kettle's on. I'll have a cup of tea and a biscuit in a minute. Nice.
Lovely stuff. Lovely to see good old Eddie there coming in for his breakfast as well. Does he have a cup of tea though? That would be great, wouldn't it? We'd have a friendly bird who also has a cup of tea. I suppose you could put it down in a saucer. That was Bonnie and her beach hut. Lovely to see. Thank you very much. Bonnie has sent in a picture of a posh loo. Let's have a look at that. There we are. Look at that. That is a posh loo. I think that's at the back of her beach hut, actually. But one of those cubicles that I imagine that you disappear into to do your ablutions and various things. That must be the old lobby. Very nice. Thank you very much for showing us the posh loo to your beach hut. I assume that's where it is. How marvellous. Or it might have been at the Ivy that she said. I can't remember now if I used the loos when I went to the Ivy with Danny Baker, but I may have done. But it was a while ago. Anyway, there we are. Lovely Julia says she'd love to pop along to have a look at the beach hut sometime. We'll have to do that. Summer is in a hut. So that's summer in a hut. Yes, exactly. Is it Weatherspoons? Dave Avad says, no, that picture, definitely Weatherspoons. That's what they all look like. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Mark Burgess has sent in a favourite pet picture. This is a favourite pet picture. Does he? I can't remember now. I've just gone past it. Did it say Lily? Lovely. Look at that lovely dog there sitting there by the window saying, oi, let me in. Let me in, for goodness sake. Let me in. Well, I'm afraid you have to stay outside a little bit longer until your fur is dry. So there we are. Marvellous stuff. We are coming very much close to the end of the show, but we can't go because we still have the London Loop with Sean and Hazel Burgess. So let's. I didn't show you the loop thing, did I? No, that's right. Let's go, and we're going to do the London Loop, and then we're going to catch a train with Hazel Burgess, or hopefully not get run over by a train. So this is back to Sean James Cameron. Sorry I've left this a bit late.
So we're coming up to the old Bexley Conservation Area. And just look how beautiful this is. All the meadow flowers are out, and there are people doing a bit of exercise, walking their dog. In fact, I had a very good chat with these two locals just now. They gave me a lot of information about this area.
I moved here in 1976, and this was still gravel extraction works. And what I've been told is that the landowner got consent to extract gravel on condition that the land was restored to agricultural use when it was done. They didn't do that. Instead, they used it for landfill. All right, fair enough, but they got to they filled in all the holes, and then they just kept on filling it, so that now we have this sort of plateau, and we have to climb up and down from the
so you tell me that it was originally the same height as that street?
Yes.
So all this is added on?
All this is added on. And the one saving grace, to my mind, is that with all the rubbish under the surface, it's quite unsuitable for building on. So yes, hopefully it will stay like this pretty much.
I just missed some geese that flew over. But the dog walkers tell me that these pylons here had to be raised because by the time they reclaimed this area, these pylons were actually level with the top of this section, so they had to raise them up for people's safety. He also told me that it's been a very popular site during the lockdown, especially with dog walkers. A lot of the locals have discovered this area. It's very early on in the walk, but let me treat myself to a blackberry or two. I'll just have two, because leave some for the birds. I would imagine this is a wonderful place to come in the evening to watch the sunset. Now there's a gate here. I can see that it's locked. I think I'm gonna have to shimmy over here like a mountain goat. Oh, and look what meets me. Looks like a cornfield or something. Stunning sight. Looks like if I'd been a few weeks earlier, we might have seen the crop being harvested. That sound is of a parakeet, because we have them in a lot of areas in London. Many stories on how they might have got here. They seem to be nesting in this bush, which is just by the side of the power station. There's our friend, the London Loopman. So down here we go, and hopefully we will get to the river.
Well, we hope you do get to the river. How interesting is that? There we are. You see, landfill can do some good works, apparently, because it's going to save that land from being built on, which I think is a very noble thing. Maybe more people should put that in their complaints if there's planning permission coming on and they've said, oh, we're going to build on this farm here, we're going to build on it. Oh, well, actually, it's all landfill. It's all been filled with land many years ago. Most of the councillors can't remember, but actually it's full of old crap and you better not build on it. They may turn a blind eye and say, well, actually, that's we won't build on that then. We don't want any of that nonsense. So there we go. Well done, Sean. Can't wait to see the next instalment of the London Loop, the second series, part 3, coming to us hopefully fairly soon. Thank you very much for that. Colonel Cragratty says that Eric is a bit quiet at the moment. Let's see if we... I've got my broom here. Let's see if we can wake him up.
What is it, sir?
Are you up there, Eric?
I am up here, sir. I'm archiving the show, making sure it doesn't buffer, sir.
I should hope you are. I don't want any buffering on this show. I think we had a little bit earlier. What was going on, Eric?
I fell asleep, sir. I'm not feeling too well.
What, you as well as the lovely Julia? I can't understand it. What's going on? Anyone would think there was a virus or something. Anyway, less of this nonsense. We have one more video to do and then we are out. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, just before we come to the end of this show, I'm thinking of taking a week off. I know... I am thinking of taking a week off. It may be this week coming. I'm now that the weather is nice. Do you know, I haven't had a week off, not a proper week off, in 4 years. So I'm thinking of it. I'll let you know on Friday if it's true. But if you suddenly don't get any shows or videos or anything, don't think I've died. It's just that I may take a bit of a week. I may just do some stuff around the house. May go out for a couple of days. May spend the night in the van. Haven't really decided 100%. I won't be far away, so don't panic. My son Billy is going to come in and make sure everything's all safe and done up. But just it's just an idea that's going through my mind. Right, it's time for our last video. Let's see what Hazel's up to now.
Don't cover that, so I know where the lens is.
Hazel Burgess doing a bit more filming for my brother. Here comes another train. Not sure which one it is. Looks like it could be black engine, this one. Here it comes. Coach is empty on that one. Oh, we got a wave. Very nice. Got a wave this time. Let's get some flowers. Look, lovely flowers. Absolutely beautiful. Oh. Absolutely lovely. Beautiful flowers. somebody's garden. Don't know whose, but somebody's. Lovely flowers. Really nice and lovely blue sky. Right. Really nice blue sky. There is a cloud in the sky, but not many. But beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. Oh. Wow. I hope everybody likes this film that I've had a doing today. Put your likes and your dislikes if you like. But let me know what you thought of my attempt at videoing today. On Tuesday, the 9th, I think it is. Oh no, sorry, I think it's the 10th. I think the 9th was yesterday. 9th of August, 10th of August today. Very sorry everybody. Forgetting what day of the week and the date. What have we got here? What have we got here? Something unusual. Don't know what that is. Oh. Lovely that. Whatever that is. I don't know what that is though. Whatever it is, it's nice. It's nice though. Whatever it is. Not sure. If anybody knows, perhaps you might be able to put a message in and let us know what it is. Be very keen to find out.
And there you have it, Hazel. Thank you very much for the wonderful train-side view down there at St Mary's Bay. In presumably is that Hampshire? Not Hampshire. What am I talking about? Kent. Down there in Kent. Is it sweet pea? Is it lupin seeds? It looks like lupin, says Audrey Forbes Hamilton. And the orange plant is crocosima, says Sean James. We've also had gladioli, Gladys and the Pips. We've had a flower looks like N. Montebrea. Who knows? There we are. Richard, when you're in your van all alone, look at your family tree. It's very interesting. I've gone back to 1650. I can't go back. That's the trouble with my tree. I can't go back. I don't know who my mum's father was. We don't really know who my mum's mother was. And my great-grandparents, don't know who they are. I am the product of a mystery. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who I am. So there we go. Colonel Cragratty says, by all means, take a week off and finish the van conversion. Well, it is pretty much finished, to be honest with you. There's not much to do. I've only got to put a little bit of that pug around the splash, whatever you call it, that pug to stop the water getting in. Yes, who knows? I'll keep you posted one way or another. But we will be back here on Friday, ready for a Friday show. So do tune in to doing all of that. In the meantime, thank you so much for coming along. Big thanks to Pete Telling for the pictures, for the art, to Bonnie I've written there, Bonnie for the beach hut and good old Eddie, to Turbo Stream for the spring flowers, to Hazel for her wonderful videos, and to Sean for the fascinating London loop. Thanks also to Sean for ringing in, for you for typing, to lovely Julia for making sure everything's all right, to Judith if she's out there checking on the moderations, and for everybody else for watching and putting in all the likes and the fun stuff. I hope you have a great night and take care, look after yourselves. From me for now, back very soon. There is a video, of course, tomorrow, have no fear. But for now, toodle pip, bye! Oh, thrust the button, nothing happened. Try that again. Bye!